I mean, I do appreciate all of these little extra scenes that we're getting. It goes some way to recontextualizing and adding context to previous things. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back. I am recording a bunch of movies today, so I don't know why I keep prefacing like we're back with another episode of. We are here for the movie RahXephon. I just tried to practice the name, and I think I've already gotten it off my head. Pluralitas Concentio? Actually, no, sorry. Leaning in a bit because my eyesight is bad. It says Pluralitas Concentio. So I thought I was leaning into the concept that RahXephon has a heavy theme when it comes to music, but that says Concentio, and I don't know if that has anything to do with music. As I was saying concertio, thinking concerts, multiple concerts. I don't even know if pluralitas means multiple. So I am an idiot. And anyone who's been watching this entire series so far knows that. So don't be surprised. That said, though, I also don't know what this movie is. When I said that I had watched the series back when it first came out, over 20 years ago, that was it. I had only watched the series. I didn't watch anything extra. So I don't know what there is for this. This could be like any other movie series, other anime series where they make a movie, which is itself a compact form of the series. So, they can resell you on content they've already made, just recut. I'm not saying that they're just trying to resell you on stuff, but, it's a more condensed version. Could be that. Could be, as we just saw in our previous recording that we did today, which was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's movie, The Sacred Star of Milos, that it is just an added story, something that could take place within the context or even confines of a story we've already seen before. That is also a popular way to do it. I guess, ironically, we're also going to be watching Dallos later, the movie version, which is itself a compact version of the Dallos story. So we already have a pre-existing example of one, which is Full Metal Alchemist, which is an additive story. And we have a future coming example of the other, which is Dallos, which is the compact version of the story. Although not that compact. Dallos is the combination of 4 20-something minute episodes. So, conceivably, it's actually going to be longer than its source material. But anyway, the idea therein is to see what RahXephon does. I'm leaning more towards the additive material, that they could tell a completely different story, but I actually have no idea. Obviously, to have done any preliminary research or anything would be to invite myself to spoilers, and God forbid, I would hate that. I hate being spoilered. But I am doing this live online, which means Phil Fisher is in the chat, and Phil Fisher says online Latin to English dictionaries say consentio is harmony. Maybe if I'm right about the first one, then many harmonies, maybe, which would still be related to the series. Yeah, I can't remember what I was about to say now. Sorry. The element of what this is going to be. Here, there's an added element to this, unrelated to what I was just rambling about. And yes, I know my rule about rambling. We will get into it. Just give me a second. The added element to this is that also I started watching this with Griffin, per the request of our patron. However long ago, let's see, 26 episodes. Yeah, it's 26 episodes, which means 26 months, which means a little over 2 years. So imagine, if you will, trying to remember a show that you watched an episode a month for over 2 years ago. What happened back then? That is the element that I'm saying that if this is not a recap, if this is a compilation movie, then the earliest stuff is still going to be pretty damn new to me, considering anyone who's watched this channel knows that I'm keeping track of so many different shows and so many different notepads and so many different boards showing character outlines and layouts and whatnot, right? That 2 and some change months ago, whatever happened back then, right out the brain or right out the eyeballs, whatever the hell I was doing. So, if it is that, plenty of opportunity to re-experience it again. Technically for the third time, but let's just say it's for the first time. If it's something new, then I'm glad we have Phil Fisher in the chat, because I do need help and guidance sometimes, because sometimes these themes are way over my head. The element that we're combining mysticism of ancient religion or mythos from a territory of mythos I'm wholly unaware of is sometimes hard to parse. So there is an element that I will be missing. And again, I've said this, and every time I've reacted, help me out in the comments. Help me out in the comments, as it will be helpful for my understanding. Otherwise, as I have indicated, I'm rambling, and in rambling, we just chop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, row your boat. Now, which timeline is this going to be? Is this going to be the post timeline of the show? Where they actually get together and have a kid? Oh, is she about to confess? Ah, school drama. Or is it going to be a third reality where they hooked up and this didn't happen? You might not be mad, but you certainly don't look happy. Mittens? Those mittens, right? Yellow mittens? Won't kiss, but...
be outside when the dome was gonna drop.
僕三島のこと送ってくるから。
あ、おばさま、長いしてすみません
Warning
でした。
her not to be in the dome. I don't know to what point.
はるかちゃん、
はい、
これからもあやとのことよろしくね。
失礼
That's kind of mean, knowing what she knows. Although that is a conversation that they have later near the end of the series, so it makes sense.
ここでいいよ。
ごめんな、今日に限って。まさかこんなに早く帰ってきてるなんて思わなかったから。変な人だったろう、うちの母さん。
そんなことない。そんなことないよ。お母さんは関係ない。だって神名くんは神名くんなんだから。私、その
いつ戻ってくるんだ。
3日。
そっか。じゃあよ。
Again, though, to be fair, time passes like the same for him while he's under the Tokyo Jupiter. For her, it's the time that's not passing the same way. Assuming this is the regular timeline.
FS306 戦闘区域に入りました。府中との回線復旧できません。なんだ、何が起こってるんだ、東京で。まさか
Utahara?
FS306 通信途絶。何、敵の機動性がダメです。追随不能。このままでは前期撃墜されてしまいます。
Okay, so I'm guessing this is the events that predicated Tokyo Jupiter's creation. And those are the blocky things that we saw mind controlling everybody inside of Tokyo Jupiter. Ah, the whole Moo City ship thing. Oh. I thought she was rushing back to try and get there. It's very interesting to see how solid their relationship actually was when the dome went down. Because otherwise it feels like just a fling, but it's like they're dedicated.
ラーゼフォンシステム、2人の時間調律師の出現、そしてそのどちらかによる世界の調律、すべて私のいた世界にあったものと同じことが描かれている。
元は同じ世界だったと聞きます。宇宙が多元化した瞬間に、この石板がムーと人類、そのどちらに出現したとしても不思議ではありません。
そうだな。世界や宇宙は今やその
I guess I'm slightly confused by the guy on the right being here.
もはや一刻の猶予もない。我々は奏者の奪還を急がねばならん。
それに関しましては、我々
誰かおらんのかね、くぬぎ君。
はあ、情報部に一人適任な者がおります。女性ですが腕に問題はありません。
I do appreciate the movie is apparently adding context to so many of these scenes.
そうか。では今回のオーバーロード作戦は君ら作戦部に任せよう。
Wow, the disappointment and anger in his face.
提供いただいた戦力は何としても反抗作戦には間に合わせます。
ダウンホール作戦か。 よもやマヤがあんな行動を取るとは思わなかったよ。
東京ジュピター。
It's also point of views from other sides that we didn't see before.
ンラカントクールだ。だがあれは良い時間稼ぎになった。あれの外と中では6倍のタイムシフトがある。ことは我々に有利に働いているのだよ。
大丈夫なのでしょうか。あの奏者は純潔では。
陸道と同じことを言うな。心配はあるまい。
陸道。
あの奏者には無の血が流れているのだよ。私と同じムーのな。間もなく時を。
I guess in case you didn't figure out the Bahib thing.
再び世は清らかな音色に満たされるのだ。
総裁。
The world's suffused with sound.
開く時間です。
お、もうそんな時間か。
バーベキュー。
Quan.
眠り姫のところだよ。どうかね、眠り姫は。
特に異常は目覚めの兆候もありません。
そうか。しかしいつ見ても美しいものだな、奏者というものは。さあ見せておくれ、その証を。
Trying to be a creepy old man. Damn. The theme. A goddamn fucking theme.
もうすぐだ。もうすぐ会えるのだぞ、私のクオン。
I just noticed that the top of the tip of the Moo city ship thing looked like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson on it. At least he still regards her as his girlfriend, even though she's been missing for, what, 3 months now? Right? His recollection? Well, that's a scene from way later, isn't it? Oh, 3 years. 3 months, 3 years, whatever. 3 somethings.
たった2300万人を残して人類は消失してしまったのだ。だというのに何事もなかったかのようにこうして日常は続いている。みんなも昔のことを忘れていく。それに対して
How? How do you forget the rest of the world has vanished?
それはそれでいいと思った。僕にはそれが彼女が生きてる証に思えたからだ。彼女は三島は今どこにいるのだろう。会いたい。もう一度。
I mean, essentially, for like the very beginning of this, it's like Under the Dome, the Stephen King thing. Just without knowing that the outside exists. It's shocking that in 3 years she didn't try to make a second move, considering the way that we know that she feels about him still. No idea why he decided he needed to take his backpack with him. Also, conceivably, since we know who's responsible for this, that she would have also almost killed him. It's kind of... I don't know, I use the word funny a lot. Although conceivably this could be any of the number of unnamed pilots that die in the scene. Who would have no idea who this guy is, let alone don't shoot anything around him.
三島、生きてた、生きてたんだね。三島、僕は、待って、三島なんだろう、三島。
It's the Chud line. Also, you just left the wreckage of a train. It wouldn't make any sense to go down into another train station. Also, did I say Chub line? Equally funny.
神名綾人君だね。お母様がお呼びです。
母さんが？
説明している暇はありません。我々とご同道願います。
おい、来たぞ。
さあ。
ちょっと待てよ。説明くらいちゃんとしろ。
だだこねちゃダメよ。
No real idea who these guys are, by the way, since they don't show up ever again. Like, obviously, Mu, Blue Blood, but it's always military guys after this. Or, you know, your ex-girlfriend.
お礼くらい言ってほしいんだけど。
それではどうも危ないところを助けていただいて。
It is funny to consider the fact that she didn't finish the Christmas present before she got separated in time, and then will give him it later.
なんて思ったりしてる。教えてあげる。私と来たら青一のこと、この世界のすべてを。
It's also funny,
一緒に来てお願い。
you know, how uncertain she is when dealing with him, but about how confident she's become over time, that she wasn't in the flashbacks we just got.
そっか、仕方ないね。ごめん。
そんなひどいじゃないか。
It's like a sedative in a epinephrine needle or whatever. Wow, in the movie version, they just really spell it out. Like, I had to allude to Griffin when we were watching this together that she was special in some way. I don't think Griffin ever got to the point where he would figure out... No, maybe he did. Maybe he made the guess. I can't remember. I guess they're lucky that they're only fighting the Japan Special Defense Force. Sorry, Self-Defense Force. Because we know these guys wouldn't be able to handle Dolems if Dolems show up.
どういうことです？目覚めるにはまだ早すぎるはずだわ。あの子がテラの手に落ちて12時間。ゲインの上昇くらいあなたたちで止めてみせなさい。
すでにレゾナンスが上昇し始めています。我々では不可能です。
神殿に向かいます。
I mean, to be fair, if Quan is just waking up on the other side, it seems like it's not too late for him to wake up.
ごめんね。ちょっと麻酔が効きすぎちゃったみたい。
僕、誘拐されたってわけですか。
この世界のすべてを知りたいと思わないわけ？
興味ないです。
ねえ、今地球上に人間が何人いるか知ってる？
I mean, more importantly, literally you left your friend in a train wreck with possibly concussion. Also, nobody in an anime where time is an issue ever guesses the population of the Earth right. They're usually wrong by a couple billion people. And I am taking into account the time frame that they exist in. I'm pretty sure when this came out, there was like 7.5 billion people on Earth. And I mean the time frame they're in inside the dome. Outside the dome is the future. So there must have been a massive depopulation. Oh wait, there was. So I'm remembering in the show that like massive explosions went off in Australia, killing a lot of people. Entirely possible. Could have killed a couple billion people. The Zephon's bringing you to it.
ダメです。レゾナンスの上昇止められません。ちょっと言うこと聞いてよ。この
As I've said, Phil Fisher is in the chat, so responding to that, they're saying colony drop, and no, I mean no. There's the nuclear event in RahXephon. Remember, what's his name's daughter gets killed because he pulls the trigger on that, and that's why he's divorced from his wife because she can't forgive him for what he did. Pretty sure it happens in Australia in this show. Ayato-kun, how did you even know what the eject button was? I mean, not for nothing. I know you're being controlled, essentially, but you almost got your girlfriend killed here. And I guess now the mind control drops and you figure out what the hell's going on. I don't think anybody in that room is going to survive the end of the movie. I mean, unless they make changes. And that's when you found out your mom's got blue blood.
目覚めたのね、アヤト。長かったわ。失ったものも大きかった。
なんだって、なんて言ったんだ、母さん。
This is a conversation they didn't have before.
あなたの血があなたの中で目覚めるのを
同レムに量子凝縮反応 FD 位相変換増大中
奴の変換係数が覚醒するのか。
なんだとよく聞こえないんだ。
I mean, it feels like it's already awake. Yeah. It's odd, considering how much material there is, that the movie is adding extra context to all these scenes. Is that how that works? Like he's got the evangelion seat, like the control system of G Gundam. I suppose you have to consider this like a compilation movie, 0.5, in that it's the compilation of everything, plus added material.
ZEPHON の量子凝縮版計測値限界まで増大レベル12プラス。
これが綾人様の力なのか。
I mean, more so the Zephon's power. As we know, it will become Ayato's power. That's nowhere near towards the end. Now, time to leave the dome, I think.
量子凝縮版タイポール型に収束中境界と融合していきます。回廊が形成されました。
Did they show the other pilot lady getting out?
障壁を外に出たというのか。ゼフォンが奏者と外になんてことだ。
I mean, obviously they have the ability to get out. For some reason, I thought they left at the same time.
でもお前は必ず戻ってくる。あなたはその力逃れることはできないのよ。
Hey, man. Alright, go to time to live with your girlfriend, who you don't recognize, for a little bit. Find a cat. Get some canned goods.
使える通信機はなしか。さて、どうしたものかな。ねえ。起きたの。具合はどう？
あれは何？あの壁みたいなやつ。
あれ？ああ、そうか。初めて見るのよね。あれは東京ジュピター。
Yeah, it's kind of odd to think about what they see from the inside. Because from the inside, it's blue skies, right? Do they think they can leave the city, but they just don't? What were you specifically saving her from, Ayato? She was gonna fall into the water.
でもあんなとこに乗るあんたも悪いよ。三浦半島、外の世界はずっと前に消滅したはずじゃ。
そう教え込まれてきたわけよね。でもこの場所はこうやって存在している。信じられない？
I guess I just kind of wish that we had seen from the ground level what the border of the city looks like.
混乱させようと私が仕組んだことかもしれないわけだし。
何のために？
混乱させるつもりならそんなこと教えるわけないでしょ。
Bless you.
君も私も風邪ひきそうだってのは現実だけど。
今度はどこ？
もう日が落ちるわ。ラーゼフォンのところまで戻って落ち着き場所を探さないと。
I mean, I don't even know how they found anything. I guess the implication is that nobody around here salvages stuff.
君があれ動かしてたのよ。覚えてない？
ラーゼフォン。
オリンピックカブール大会スケートボードジャンプの日本選手団のメンバーが今日発表となりました。
Kabul Olympics?
前回2024年の平壌大会で
2024年？
どうかした？
今2024年って言わなかった？
言ったわよ。
だって今は2015年だろ。僕が
Yeah, so, as I said, in the future, where they said 6 billion people? Way more. Way more than that.
11月10日のはずよね。
11月
？2027年のね。
あなた未来人？何がおかしいんだ？
真実って残酷なものよ。
Well, I mean, technically, you're from the past. You've been from a bubble where time was slowed down, so I think technically that makes you from the past.
私の言ったこと気にしてるの？これも何かの陰謀かもしれないって。愛のように甘く、悪魔のように黒いってわけにはいかないけど、コーヒーには違いないでしょ？
なんか浦島太郎の気分が分かったような気がするよ。
ラーゼフォンは玉手箱にしては大きすぎ。
Don't know the reference. Not a mythos or a legend or story I'm aware of.
あなたに会う直前に友達を見かけたんだ。
え？
東京ジュピターって言うんだっけ？あれができた時にその子は東京にいなかったはずなんだ。夢だったのかな。一つ教えてよ。
いいわよ。何？
I like that this version thinks about her more.
あれができて。
ええ。でも同じくらいたくさんの人が生き残っているわ。
生きている。
うん。
生きてるかもしれない。生きてるかもしれないんだ。あいつがこの世界に。
Why wouldn't she be? I mean, unless she was like right at the border. That would have to be extremely bad luck to be crushed by Tokyo Jupiter as it's coming down.
この向こうにあなたたちの町があるわ。でもあの壁までは約 5km。下層部もやはり半球状なしていると。
What caused the pit, though?
なんでこんなものが。
Like, did it come down and destroy everything in a radius around it?
ことだけど、ムーと呼ばれる異次元からの侵略者が何かを守るためにこれを作った。 そう考えられているわ。
ラーゼフォンのこと？
今はこうして何事もなかったかのように見えるかもしれないこの世界だけれど、最近になって世界中にムー出現の兆候が観測されたの。君の戦ったあの人形みたいな兵器を見てもわかるでしょ。戦力差は圧倒的。
I mean, technically, the Australia thing that I mentioned before.
再び侵攻を始めたら人類はとても太刀打ちできない。だから助けてほしいの。君のラーゼフォンに。
僕の？
君が力を貸してくれなきゃ。
It is actually kind of crazy happenstance that there's only 2 instrumentalists. One is outside the dome because of the organization that we saw at the beginning. And the other one just happens to get taken from inside the dome.
ごめん。どんなに謝っても許してもらえることじゃないよね。
It's just also the expectation I have while I'm watching the movie is that since I watched the episodes first, there are so many of these breaks where I expect either like a mid-scene transition or the credits to start rolling, like every fade out, right? Or long pause on a scene.
テラ所属の特務航空母艦。
テラって？
対ムー戦略研究機関。私の勤め先よ。テラ情報部第二諜報課。
It's clearly not an acronym by the way you described it.
使徒はるかです。以後よろしく。
Could have just said the name. Could have just said your name.
それにしてもうちの情報部も大したもんです。今回のオーバーロード作戦、奏者の確保が目的だったはずなのに、とんでもないおまけ付きです。
Oh, well, it wasn't happenstance then. It was on purpose. It was the goal.
僕たちテラの戦力、それにあのラーゼフォンさえあれば、例の反抗作戦も夢物語じゃありませんね。いつきさん、今目の前に来てますよ。どうです？見に来ませんか？
Something about that cheering multi-voice thing in the background, just like didn't like that in my ear.
ようやくね。ようやくやってきてくれたよ。大丈夫だよ、クオン。彼が目覚めてくれたら、君は。
Much different version of Quan. Not the happy, cheery, mysterious person.
もうすぐ君を救い出してあげるからね。
Certainly more of a tortured, mysterious person.
まあ、ほら、儀礼的なもんだから。
でもさ。
Of course, it'd be red. We saw it already. But is it really red?
結果が出ました。やはり MU フェーズです。
でもまだ違うかい。我々にもチャンスは残されてるんです。
I guess it really is red. They see it as red.
だがいずれ目覚める。それまで我々は利用できるものは何でも利用しなくてはならない。たとえそれが人の心であっても。
That's a different system.
どういうことですか?
If you remember the show, it was literally like a full-on metal door that rotated to keep him sealed in.
指標生態分子の解析結果が出たんです。ヌクレオチドペプチドのすべてにわたって MU フェーズの反応が見られたんです。
でも彼は何も知らないんですよ。お願いします。解除してください。彼は協力的なはずです。とにかく私たちと同じ赤い血の人間なんです。
今はだがいずれ青くなる。それが奏者のいや神の綾との宿命。
I mean, I don't know why you know that, other than the fact that you think he's an instrumentalist.
記憶が抹消され
Although I don't remember if he says this during the show, breaking down the whole instrumentalist thing to her.
我々の世界の否定、人類の滅亡を意味する。我々はそれを阻止するために存在している。彼が赤い血のうちに世界を調律させるためにだ。それが不可能になったとしたら、その時は
私がやります。私がカミナ君を殺します。それが私に与えられた本当の任務ですから。
I mean, at least their goals make more sense here. If he's going to be an instrumentalist, he needs to tune the world to one that's pro-human, rather than whatever the Mu would do with him.
関係あるんでしょ？母さんの血が青かったことと。
いいわ。これ見てくれる？テラ、いいえ、国連が認定した今回の戦争の最重要参考人にしてムーの最高指導者、神名マヤ、あなたのお母さんよ。
You know, where did she come from? That's a question I never asked while I was watching the show.
はじめはね、
Was she from the other
人
world?
類と共存しようと思っていたみたいだった。だから彼らが出現し始めた当初は国連も極秘に扱っていたの。でも結果的にそれが裏目に出てしまったのね。理由はわからないけど彼らは戦争を仕掛けてきた。たった1日で世界中で何万人もの人が死んだわ。
Well, that might explain then
全面戦争を覚悟した
the population number 2.
だけどそれは起こらなかった。
どうして？
東京ジュピターができたから。彼らはそのフィールドに閉じこもってしまった。まるで何かを待ってるかのようにね。
Also crazy you're keeping that thing locked in a display case because we know those things can regenerate.
攻撃を仕掛けてくる。彼らに
As per that one doctor's
ちょっと
flashback.
はないけど被害が大きすぎる。
で、僕を誘拐して人質にか。
少なくとも君の血は赤い。私たちと同じ血の色をしてるじゃない。
でも母さんの血は
関係ない。関係ないよ。
I would hope movie version would have just come out with it earlier than TV version.
変なの。変なこと思い出しちゃった。
何？
By which I mean who she
昔
is.
同じこと言われたことがあるんだ。僕が今でも好きな女の子に。
He's saying that very weirdly.
何？
会ってもらいたい人がいるんだけど。そうすれば安心する。君は一人きりじゃないって。
クオンのことかい？君にクオンはまだ合わせられない。
I was gonna say Quan, but I was also gonna joke about the sister.
キサラギ博士。
いつきでいいよ。
あ、はい。いつきさん。
Also, the conceit of the sister must have been around when he was before Tokyo Jupiter, like a really young girl.
眠り姫？
彼女はいつもこの神殿、ネリア神殿って言うんだけど、この奥で眠っている。そして時々目を覚まして、いろいろと僕たちに教えてくれるんだ。
予知夢みたいな。
そうだね。いや、むしろ世界の真実かもしれない。クオンは体はこっちにあるけど、その魂は向こうにあるからね。
向こ
う？ムーの世界だよ。彼女は血を持つ神聖のムーリアンにして、オリジナルのラーゼフォン奏者だからね。
Well, that's weird. I mean, she has her own version, not this one. But I mean, it's weird the idea that her body is here, but her soul is in the Mu dimension.
だけど今はその時じゃないんだ。だからその時が来たら、君に教えて。
Oh, they're reusing this shot for when he tries to go back into Tokyo Jupiter.
これから役所行って手続きしてくるから。おじさん、めぐみ、あとはよろしく。
食べないの？せっかく買ってきたの。
君のいた町、君のいたうちとはだいぶ違うだろう。しばらく慣れないだろうが、まあ 親戚のうちに遊びに来たつもりで気楽にやってくれ。
俺それってよくわかんないです。親戚のうちに遊びに行ったことないんで。
おいメグ、晩飯にはまだ時間あるだろう。
Take him with you. Show him the area. Yeah.
なんだよ、おじさんいつもなんて言ってる。
はーい。
いや、俺は別に。
I mean, you're just gonna start a very uncomfortable relationship with her that's really gonna go nowhere for her and leave her in a worse spot by the end.
昔からさ、うちのお姉ちゃん絶対東京に戻るんだって言ってたからさ。
お姉ちゃんってはるかさん？
そう、あの人生まれは東京だから。
そうなんだ。
ごめんね。
何が？
東京の人間って言うからもっと怖い人だって思ってたんだ。
いいよ、別に。
I really don't understand how the whole facade that I'm not the girl that you knew before actually plays out. Maybe I forgot some part where they described the name change.
何これ？ビー玉で飲めないよ。
バカね。瓶のくぼんだところにビー玉を引っ掛けるのよ。
I don't know why you'd want to buy a drink that requires extra work to drink it.
涼しい。
I'd be pissed off if Coke came out with like a Coke bottle that actively prevented you from drinking it unless you knew the trick.
おじさんでいい。
はい。
なんだ？
おじさんがいつもめぐみちゃんに言ってることって何ですか？
いや、大したことじゃない。嫌なことから目をそらさず、何でも正面から受け止めろって言ってるんだ。まだ若いんだからな。すまんが、これを玄関にかけてきてくれ。
Add your name to the wall. Yep. Sorry, it's something I very specifically look at on the walls in anime to see who's living there. If it's important. Like, gotta know what the family's like.
彼、ここが気に入ったんじゃないでしょうか。
分かってないようだな、人体。
Is that what he was drawing?
どうして乗る気になっ
It's
た
like
の？
his drawing book to me anyway.
おかしいよ。あんたに戦う理由なんてないじゃん。
大切な子がいるんだ。
東京に？
こっちの世界にどこかにいるはずなんだ。昔付き合ってた子が。もう一度会いたいんだ。だからこの世界を守りたい。しょぼい理由だね。
I mean, I wish he'd just fucking tell somebody her name so everyone else could figure it out. I mean, since the possibility of change exists here. And by change, I mean change to the storyline that we know to something different.
Hi. 必ず連れ戻しに来るでしょう。
こちらも予想外だったからな。まさかラーゼフォンごと連れてくるとは。
申し訳ありません。
It's also the element that I don't think I ever thought about before, that they'd say that they negotiated with the Mu until the Mu sealed themselves in after the threat of war was brought to the table. Then again, I guess that explains away the military officers that are present.
我々は死闘隊の気持ちも利用して
that they would have been part of the negotiations, and thus the element that would have been connected to discussing things with the Mu, who sold out the rest of us, I guess.
切り札はどう思いますでしょうか。我々に本当に必要なのがラーゼフォンではないと知ったら。
許してくれるだろうか、あいつらは。
我々には我々なりの責任の取り方がある。そうおっしゃってくださったのは先生です。先生だけに泥をかぶらせるような真似はいたしません。
I mean, I do appreciate all of these little extra scenes they were getting. I think it was some way to recontextualizing and adding context to previous things.
金色の夕映えの中、どこまでもたゆたいゆかん。人の世は夢にあらずや。
Is that like the Japanese version of Row, Row, Row Your Boat? Because it feels like it. Even though he's reading Alice in Wonderland, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry, she's reading Alice in Wonderland. I realized what I said.
これで何度目だっけ? Yada. あの人同じだ。
よく続くね。
I guess it would mess you up constantly thinking about the past and then looking at your reflection in a mirror.
それも仕事のための体力作りなわけ。
何その格好。
しょうがないだろ。冬服なんて持ってないんだから。
ちょっと待ってて。これ使って。
I made them for you as a Christmas present. But you didn't know what I was trying to make you back then. So you wouldn't have any idea.
アルファ正体は何をしてるんだ。
ちょっと何よこれ。これじゃまるで。
I mean, I really appreciate how like bashful she is because she's been waiting to give him those mittens. For what, 7 years? Something like that? Minowski? Very close to Minovsky.
D1 自称境界面に移行。ラーゼフォンとの通信途絶。
神なく。
And this is the weird mental version of Tokyo, or is this a recontextualization of when he goes back? Oh no, this is just him going back in a different way.
母さん、止めて。
なんか変わったかな、神名くん。
そうかな。
Because I think I'm thinking of the one where we have Chitao in like a diner. It's very weird.
1ヶ月なんだよ、外では。
先生も何も言わないし、みんな神名くんがいなくなったって全然気にしてないし、なんか変だって。私ずっと、私もう一度神名くんに会いたかった。会って聞いてみたかった。でも私 あなたに何を聞いたらいいのかもわかんない。
いい加減にしろよ。お前変なことばっか気にしすぎなんだ。
Again, the problem here is that Mamoru here is in on it.
旅行行ってただけなんだろ。え？ああ。そうだ、戦争があったことは学校ではなんて言ってる？
戦争？
戦争だよ。
Although they don't really do anything to explain how he's in on it, considering that he was rocked by everything else.
ほら、私何か大事なこと忘れてる。そうだよ。何かひどいことがあったって気がするもの。
ヒロコ、いい加減にしろ。
Yeah, also, what business is of yours to rein her in like that? Bite the lip, see if it turns red or blue. That's why I said, is it really from before? But then they confirmed that they're seeing red blood as well.
僕の母さんなら。
She wipes it on your face. As though, what would you do if you were bleeding blue blood? Or is it turning his blood blue, actually? Did he throw himself into the next room? Doubt she did that. By the way, just the insanity of going from the Full Metal Alchemist movie to this movie. A movie where I guessed everything right to a movie where I don't know if I could guess anything.
何
者だ、貴様。
私。
その子はいい。
See, like I said, he's just in on everything. I'd be confused and I'd be asking, why are you here? Oh, he looks bad. You fucked him up with that blood thing. And then the TV kicks on and you see something that's not really happening.
少し落ち着いた。
これは何？
人類がムーリアンという存在。ほとんどがまだこちらに出てこられないでいる。サルベージできたのはわずかなものしかいないの。今はまだどれもか人とシンクロしなければ存在し続けられない青い地の人々。そう。
Sort of. I mean, you come from a different dimension and your souls can be divided from your bodies.
小さい頃死んだっていう父さんも。
もう覚えてないわ。それが私たちの宿命だから。でもね、あなたは愛してるの。それだけ。
See, I don't actually doubt that.
じゃあなんで僕を産んだりしたの？ 母さん。
Also, if he is half Mu, half human, and the whole soul division thing is a possibility, what happens to your soul when you're half?
私をずっと騙してたの。
だったらもっと気楽だったな。ヒロコ、俺は。
Unfortunately, she fell in love long before she met you. Or not long before. Before, though. Remember, laying your hands on somebody who doesn't want you to touch them is still assault.
母さんが僕を産んだのは人間と戦わせるためなの。
本当は私がラーゼフォンに乗らなくてはならなかった。それが私の運命だったから。でもその記憶をムーリアの使命を取り戻したとき、すでに私の中にはあなたがいた。
Was that true in the original? I don't remember her saying that in the original.
ただ私はあなたが産みたかった。それだけよ。でも結果としてそれはあなたに。
Also, how did you lose your memories to have to then remember that it was your destiny to pilot after the fact?
私を呪ってもいいのよ。でも私たちは運命からは逃れられない。あとは自分で決めなさい。どう生きるのか、何を選ぶのか。ラストバカラーメン、アキスイカラー。This controlami kitisco. Alam kotuamasi. This controlami kiatatwas. Lakwasmia. Alam kotuasi.
Also, oddly, we haven't seen scenes of Shitao because she should be trying to get over here to this side. Unless we're skipping over all that, and he's just gonna go back to the other side on his own. Oh yeah, time for her to express, I'm bleeding red, right? This is red blood?
Asahina.
神名くん、
どうしたんだよ、朝比奈。
見て、私の血赤いでしょ。ね、赤いよね。
The problem is,
赤いよ。
I don't know if that's self-delusion, just a desire for it to be true, or, you know, all those flying bricks in the sky that is making everybody think.
ごめん、朝比奈。俺。
私待ってた。神名くんを。神名くんが三島さんのこと忘れられないのも知ってる。でもそれでもいいの。だから。
I mean, even more true now that he's bringing it up all the time, but at the same time, like, he's not actively done anything to find her. It's repeatedly, I care about her, not, hey, can I get a phone book? Imagine if that didn't work. Imagine if he just did that and nothing happened. Stole my girlfriend. Okay, we just completely did skip over the whole Shitao goes in to try and bring him back.
アルバイト？
うん、日払いのやつ。
神名くん、責任感じてそんなことするの？
違うよ、朝比奈。俺だっていつまでもこんなこと続けられないことくらい分かってるんだ。ただ時間が欲しいんだ。考える時間がさ。今日どうすればいいのかわからないけど。
Also time to just live a normal life.
神名くん、私。
心配すんなよ。いつかラーゼフォンを使って東京から守やお前の両親を連れ出してやるから。
Don't worry. Mamoru's gonna find you all on his own.
幸せです。神名くんが私のところに来てくれただけで幸せです。でもなんとなくわかります。この時間が長く続かないことが。
Yes, the periodically funny show. I periodically enjoy
思い出そう
it.
としてもパパとママのこと思い出せないのです。怖いよ。ねえ神野くん、守るって誰？
Ah, shit, she don't even remember him. I guess the element that was introduced there with his mother, the fact that she could remember their purpose.
何食べよっか。
神野くんに任せる。
とんかつはどう？
お肉っていう気分じゃない。
だったらあっさり系
The-
だな。
What, the Olympic Stadium being built or
あ
something?
れだし、いや、あれってなんだよ。朝日奈？やっぱ具合でも悪いんじゃないのか？
神野くん、私ね、聞いてほしいことがあって。
なんだよ。
Waking up to be an instrumentalist slash dolem operator? I always thought those were weird. How they were written like that. I mean, it's like a precursor to what's about to happen here, with all the messages written across the city. But who originally wrote those in the stone? I feel like you've effectively got to keep this in the movie unchanged. It's one of anime's most perfect moments. Well, not perfect, but impactful.
So そうなんだな。朝日奈。俺、東京で自分には失うものなんて何もないって思ったんだ。
神野くん。
でも違った。俺には守らなきゃいけないものがあった。俺はお前を守る。お前を守りたい。
神野くん。
Unfortunately.
戦ってくる。俺、あいつを倒してくる。
神野くん、私言わなきゃいけないことがあって。
大丈夫。必ず帰ってくる。だから。
Not to you.
私ね、神野くんともっといっぱい話したいの。神野くんのこともっと知りたいの。私のこともっと知ってほしいの。だから、隼人くん、私待ってる。ずっと待ってるから。
I mean, the fact that he prefaced it with I thought I had nothing left to lose. And then knowing what happens. Because you're gonna lose it. I mean, also the issue, there was no way to win here. Because the Dolem is like almost fighting independently of her, and she's actively resisting it. Plus, Ayato doesn't even know, so he would know to stop fighting it. I have to feel like this is like the exact definition of a tragedy. Go on, look over to the right. Or left, sorry. Did I blink and miss the whole I love you part? Because this is it was a call for help, but I didn't see all the parts from the show, which is I want to spend time with you, I want to talk to you, I love you.
目標の確保並びに回収に成功。ホテルに向かった特務班は目標と同行していたと思われる D1 同調者を発見するも、すでに死亡した後だった。ほぼ即死だったと推定されている。
I mean, you know, small things, I guess. That she didn't suffer for long, even though she fucking did. We saw her getting her ass kicked all over that hotel room.
彼女の遺体の横で号泣していたそうだ。その遺体をめぐって特務班と揉み合いになったらしい。その時奏者は口の中を切ったらしいんだが、その血が青くなっていたそうだ。
And now you're gonna be responsible for killing him if you live up to what you said.
体はなんともないから、くぬぎしであなたの保護処分解除するって。
ほっといてよ。血が青くなった人間になんて関わらない方がいいよ。
関係ないよ、そんなの。
僕はここにいられない。生きてる価値もない。
そんなことないよ。君は。
じゃあ何があるっていうの？
Just fucking tell him who you are. Break the continuity.
人殺しなんだよ。朝比奈は待ってるって言ってたんだ。僕に忘れられない子がいてもいいって。それでも待ってるって。朝比奈にはもう僕しかいなかったんだ。僕しか残ってなかったんだ。だから戦ったんだよ。なのにもうこっちの世界にはいられない。乗りたくないから。ラーゼフォンなんかには
Well, you can't go
乗りたくない
back.
から。
いいよ。もう乗らなくていい。私は綾人君が無事でいてくれれば。
Tell him who you are.
生きてさえいてくれればそれでいいんだよ。
Because I don't think he's dumb enough or in the right mind space to figure it out.
どうして泣くんだよ。
怖いから。君がいなくなること考えたら。
Oh, maybe I was wrong. He must have figured it out. It's a lot less weird since they added the scene, hey, you want to go back to my place at the beginning. That they were always meant to have this relationship and mom fucked it up.
監視されてるんじゃないの？ここ。
構わないわよ。
え？
私待ってたんだ。ずっと。だからもう少しこうさせていて。
I mean, at least this time they at least got to have that relationship.
当たり前でしょ。情報部の極秘資料を見てるんだから。
忙しそう。
仕事が好きなのよ。
And in this one, it doesn't seem like Megumi is getting led on like she did last time.
ほら、はるかさんって仕事はできるし、美人だし、ちょっとそそっかしいところはあるけど、その。
知らない。ずっと昔にいたらしいけど。
らしい？
だって私が生まれる前の話だもん。お姉ちゃんの名字が変わる前の話。
Oh. I thought that the implication was that she existed before, but she was a younger girl.
シトって新しいお父さんの名字なんだ。
結構綺麗な名字だったんだよ。美しい島。
あ？
名字。美しい島って書いて三島って読むの。だから私は紫藤めぐみだけど、お姉ちゃんは本当は三島はるかっていうの。
Are you bullshitting me? That he didn't realize it and he just went with her in the moment?
ういうこと？
That you're related? Is that the thing? Which does mean that you're related.
ごめん、入ってたんだ。いいのよ、ゆっくり入ってて。私は後にする。
名字。え？名字変わったんだね。
ごめん。
なんで言ってくれなかったんだよ。
諸君、我々が進めてきたムーへの反抗作戦もついに最終局面を迎えることとなった。第一次東京侵攻作戦
This guy. Always reaching for approval.
このダウンフォール作戦によってだ。
今回先頃開発された連合の MTL 提供による確率共鳴波展開システムを使用することで
Were those multiple images of the Tokyo Jupiter, or were they...
コードネームは J バスター。
Sorry, in the continuity, I remember when Tokyo Jupiters appeared all over cities all over the world after the Mu ships. That has to be ahead of this. We're not there yet.
抵抗勢力を殲滅させます。
このテラ、いや人類が総力を挙げて取り組む作戦は我々戦術部が指揮を執る。以上。
音もできなくてすいません。
それは俺のセリフだ。お前に戦術部のフォローをさせなくちゃならないんだからな。
大丈夫ですよ。実動隊は僕ら
Hopefully, if we are changing things and not just adding them,
お前たちだけが頼りだ。
he won't fucking die for no goddamn reason.
先生の意志を継ぐのは
Although at the same time, we haven't seen his relationship with everybody.
ことを起こせるのは僕ら。それも陸道先生の一番弟子のくぬぎさんでなくちゃいけません。
You know, the one girl that was in the love triangle about him.
門下生の一人として僕からもお願いします。
すまない。
教えてください。知ってるんです。娘さんのこと。
苦労しただろう。財団が関係者すべてから没収したはずだからな。
何があったんですか？
初期払いに一はめこんかな。
おじさ
ん。あいつには愛した男がいたんだ。その男はあいつがラーゼフォンの奏者になる資格を持ってることを知っていて、それでも愛してくれていた。だからマヤのお腹に命を授かった時、二人とも若かったが、それでも俺はあいつらを祝福したんだ。だがな、すでにその時あいつのマヤの血は青くなっていたんだ。
Does that make them second cousins?
記憶がなくなっていくという。
Is that the right term?
愛した男のことさえも忘れていくんだからな。それでもあいつは言ったよ。子供を産むってな。記憶がなくなったとしても、子供がいれば愛した事実はなくならないって。
I think that's right.
どうしておばさまは
Essentially 2 generations removed.
二人の間の子供のことを。奴らは奏者と人間が交わるのを望まなかった。計画外ってやつさ。俺は二人を逃がしてやった。俺にはラーゼフォンなんかよりも娘の方が大事だったからな。3日後だよ。男のカミナのやつの死体が見つかったのは。財団はマヤの行方を必死で探したようだが、ついに見つからなかったそうだ。
Well, I mean, that explains the, where did she come from part.
泣いていたと思う。泣いて、それでもあいつは自分の道を選んだんだと思う。
I'll certainly say this, the movie adds just enough to be that much more clear, although it eliminates a bunch of the side stories to add those scenes to make the clarity.
カミナ君は乗せない。何があっても、どんなことをしても。
そうか、まあ、俺はお前たちが幸せならそれでいいんだ。
誰だっけあの子。
覚えていてくれたかい？
Also surprised his assistant hasn't shown up at all.
時が来たんだ。
I don't mean very specifically because she was a major part of anything, but you know, the killing at the end you'd think would be a big part of this, but I guess maybe they might focus more on the... Sorry, it comes to my head, the show focused on the philosophical side of things and the psychological side of things. Then maybe this is going to be more like the Evangelion movie, which focused more on the physical side of things.
あとは最高責任者のご命令を待つのみです。
ダウンフォール作戦発動。
Yep, time to break down Tokyo Jupiter. Cause the Mu to go into full action.
確率共鳴馬展開。
It's also surprising to me how much of this movie had, or how much of this has pushed Quan to the back burner.
僕が？そうさ。今度は君が彼女を目覚めさせてやるんだ。
目覚めさせるってどうやって？
彼女にキスすればいい。え？それは王子様の役目だろ。
そんなの五木さんがやればいいじゃないですか。
僕でいいならとっくにやっているさ。
I guess in an element. I guess in an element of having to explain really confusing stuff. Quan is one of the more confusing things in the entire show, so it would be more difficult to explain her.
もう一人で大丈夫かい？
ありがとう五木。私を守ってくれた人、私の愛した人。
僕もだ。僕も愛してる。
Though I will say, this has done nothing to explain her at all. And unlike the show, we don't even get to see the dark version of RahXephon that she had piloted in the Timescape episode. Or the Timescape Delusion episode. It's hard to tell what that was.
彼女は昔世界を調律しようとしたんだ。ムー世界でね。だけど失敗してしまった。だからこっちの世界に飛ばされてきたんだ。君のお母さんとバーベムと共に。もうすぐ彼女はもう一つのラーゼフォンと共にこの世に降臨する。でもそれは偽物だよ。世界の崩壊を加速させる偽の調律師。
Okay. I didn't know it was a fake before. I thought it was a different one.
でも止められないんだ。
ならどうして？
君ならできるからさ。君ならできる。彼女はそう言っていたんだ。青一になった君と君のラーゼフォンなら自分を止めて真の世界の調律を行える。頼む。
I don't think this is an explanation of Quan. I think this is... Well, I guess it is actually, now that I think about how the show ends.
僕は彼女を愛してるから。
僕がまたラーゼフォンに乗れば世界は救われるんですね。
綾人君。
違いますよ。あなたのために行くんじゃない。僕のために行くんです。僕が守りたい人のために。
やったぞ。
You know, this is one of those mecha shows where the main character is greedy, let's say, but his greed is to the benefit of everybody around him. This is the part I was talking about before. I mean, they exist in the same world, just overlapped. They exist in another world, side by side with this one. So really, they're just bringing their stuff over here.
もう会えないと思ってたよ、三島。
お願い、神なく。あなたに死んでもらいたいの。
Weird. Because again, you know, that's actually from the scene where he was going to leave to go back to Tokyo Jupiter, but they've recut it to use that scene now as the before he gets back into the RahXephon. So she's pulling a gun on him to stop him from going back to Tokyo Jupiter.
どうしてよ。どうして来ちゃったのよ。
僕が僕じゃないとできないことをしなくちゃならないから。
どうしてよ。もうラーゼフォンには乗らないって言ったじゃない。
I think this actually makes a little less sense than the show did.
今度ラーゼフォンに乗ったら、
Except I guess
あなたは人ではなくなっちゃうのよ。
she did promise to kill him if this was to happen.
青一になってさ。
I just don't see her doing it
昔の
though.
記憶がなくなってきてるんだ。いろんな記憶がさ。僕、なくしたくないんだ。君との思い出を。忘れたくないんだ。僕が今でも君が好きだってことを。もう時間がないんだ。僕が僕でなくなっちゃうときに、人でなくなっちゃうときに、君のことを忘れていたくない。
ダメ、来ないで。
君が生き残れるんだったら、僕はどうなったって構わない。
There you go. Point break it. Care about him too much. Shoot in the air.
やっと会えたんだよ。ずっと待ってたんだよ。なのにこんなのってないよ。
僕は嬉しかった。こんなに待たせたのに、僕のこと好きでいてくれて。
Again, that's why I love their relationship in the show.
ごめん。僕も一緒に。
They're literally time-lost lovers.
一人で大人になっちゃってごめんね。
There's so many things robbed from them both.
やめて。いってらっしゃい。
行ってきます。
I hope they don't pull this as an explanation for him showing up later in his merged form, not remembering anything. It's clearly the fact they haven't introduced any of the other relationships on the side implies that even if he does kill a bunch of other people, we're not going to deal with their fallout.
思いが遂げられたからいいの？おばさんになっちゃった私でも受け入れてくれたから。
Oh. We're doing the psychological scene, but with her instead of him.
この記憶さえあればどんなことにも耐えられる。何言ってるの？だって夢が叶ったんだもん。やめて。じゃあ神名くんはどうなの？記憶がなくなっちゃう神名くんは。
しょうがないじゃない。もう無理だよ。どんなに頑張ったって神名くんには追いつけないもん。
じゃあなんで一緒に行かなかったの？対象が存在することで初めて子は子として認識できる。人がそうであるように世界もま
I
た
guess it's
そうなっている。
fair. That makes
対
sense.
象を失えばそれ自体がなくなってしまうの。彼は今その対象がない状態だから求め苦しんでいる。だって彼こっちに置いて
So I'd argue he does have a point of reference. He has lots of points of reference. Unless you're counting the memory as a point of reference.
神名くん、まだ間に合うわ。今までもそうしてきたじゃない。ずっと神名くんのこと追いかけてきたじゃない。大丈夫だよ。彼、あなたのこと待ってる。頑張れ、私。
Now, is that actually her own psyche?
彼女たどり着けるだろうか。
大丈夫よ。だってあの子は。
Is that them from the show? Sorry, my thought now is that them from the show affecting this new reality to try and make things the way that they wanted to make it, rather than the way things turned out? But then they already did that, because there's a new timeline in the future where Quan is their kid and they have a whole life together. And this isn't that. Yeah, for a second there I thought I was going to lose one of my favorite characters. I mean, I know she does die in the show. I thought they were going to have her die now, though. Okay. I thought they were going to have her fight him on his way to do whatever he was going to do, as a stand-in for when she fought him on his way to Tokyo Jupiter, a fight that hasn't actually happened here. Okay, and that's Quan's fake RahXephon, right? Okay, and he just fucking appears. I guess he did in the show, too. Okay, well, I guess thankfully in this one, Ayato didn't just fucking kill him for no reason. Merged? I mean, I understand his grief. And at least this time around, he didn't, like, psychologically torture Megumi or anything. Oh, fuck it, never mind. I guess Ayato did just fucking kill everybody that he killed before. By the way, when I saw this, I think this was the most nude I'd ever seen anybody in an anime before, so... Just to get you an idea of how young I was when I watched RahXephon the first time. Okay, we're still establishing that relation.
おじさん。前途避難命令出てるのに、お姉ちゃんに連絡つかないよ。
はるかには俺が連絡を取ってみる。メグは支度をしとけ。
I really wish I had kept up with my my board for RahXephon, because keeping track of the family tree stuff would have been super insane on my board.
はるかだな。呼ばれたんだな、アヤトのやつに。俺もラーゼフォンの研究に関わった科学者の端くれだ。大体のことは想像はつく。はるか、それがお前の選んだ道なんだな。すまなかった。俺はもう見守ってやるくらいしか。
いいんだよ、おじさん。
はるか、
何？
走れ！走って走り抜いて、そして幸せになれ。
I mean, we know Uncle is gonna buy it before the end as well, so kind of like final words situation.
あれ、お姉ちゃんかな。
多分な。
やっぱあの人にはかなわないわ。
I thought he was. Maybe I'm just misremembering that.
的な幸せを見たいんだけどな。
はいはい。そのうち私が見せてあげるって。
I mean, fair enough though. Megumi's not being like mentally tortured like she was before. Yeah, literally, we just transitioned into a new body.
殺したのですか？
殺したのではない。
生まれ変わったのだよ。神名綾人のようにね。
And in the case, we've replaced characters in this scene because the doctor's assistant isn't here to go crazy and stab him. So
私が作り上げたラーゼフォンシステムの実験に失敗し、この世界に飛ばされてきてから今日のこの時を、体を乗り換え何年も何年も、もうどれだけの年月が流れたのか見当もつかないほどに。
何のためにです？ムー世界への調律のためですか？
私はそこまで浅はかではない。考えてみたまえ。私はこうして他者を受け入れ続けて生きながらえてきたのだよ。
他者を受け入れるか。
私は私であり続けたいだけなのだよ。世界の飽和による宇宙の崩壊を止めるには、新たに観測者を作り上げる。
sounds like Gurren Lagann.
私はその観測者に
If you replace
私が
certain
いたと
things.
いう世界を見てほしいのだよ。そして私はそれに成功した。
しかし現実として世界は終局に向かって。
Once again, doing this live, and of course, Fail Fishers in the chat pointing out Kodagami is also not here in the scene, has Kunagi instead. That's what I was implying. Is that we've completely replaced the cast here because we haven't established them earlier in the movie, so it makes no sense for them to be here. But we established him earlier in the movie. I guess the thing is that it doesn't actually change the message. The message is still exactly the same, it's just a different character is now hearing it.
結局、私は何もしてやれなかった。あの子を導いてやることも、母親らしいことも。あれは。
And then she gets blasted the same way that she did in the movie. Yeah, and then the scene near the end, I think where Maya died too.
あの子はここまで苦しまずに済んだはずなのよ。あなたが外の世界を見せなければ。違います。
私はただ。
あの子を愛してたのは私だけでよかったの。あの子に苦しみを与えたのは私の責任なの。あの子を作り出してしまった私のね。だから私は全てを与える。
Here's the problem though, is that we didn't go through this weird flashback scene with her in this room as his mother and him playing with the toys and everything. So this is like the first time we're seeing it in this movie version.
あなたがいる世界を、あなたとの世界を。私は
I think it kind of fails on that aspect, is that we're not replaying previous encounters.
悔しいけれど、あの子が望んだのは消したはずの遠い思い出。
Also, the bird flying around has no motif in this anymore as a representation of anything.
そんなにあの子と一緒に苦しみたいんだったら一緒に苦しんであげて。それができるのはあなただけよ。はるかちゃん。息子を頼みます。
おばさま、私。
急ぎなさい。
Ruins on one side, the past on the other.
ありがとう。行ってきます。
Does that really recontextualize, though, the fact that they got double blasted by a energy beam? Same energy beam and other
変わらない。あの頃と何も変わってないこの。
and other changes that killed a bunch of other characters.
そうなんだ。私会いに行くんだ。神名君に。
Weird.
神名君。神名君。
よかっ
And this is another version of a scene where the RahXephon tells Ayato everything.
過去からつながる物語が集約されているところだよ。
でも時が止まってる。ねえ、私生きてるの？それとも死んでるの？
君は生きているよ。
I was gonna say, I thought you were dead.
僕も存在している。いつでも、どこでも。僕は時と時の狭間に生きる時の観測者になったから。
もう人ではないのね。
そうだね。
Yeah, I mean, at least you're not full gray version of yourself now.
時を見ることを始めれば、時は流れ始める。僕がいなかったから、世界は不協和音で満ちていたけど、もう大丈夫だよ。
戻ってこれないの？
うん。僕がここにいなければ、世界が再びノイズにまみれちゃうからね。
私、ここにいちゃダメ？
残念だけど、僕は君に生きていてほしいから、そのためにここにいることを選んだんだから。
好きだよ、神名君。
僕もだ。
Okay, Han Solo.
泣かないで。だから最後に君に選ばせてあげる。でも未来は選べない。それは君が人間だから。人間が人間として存在し続けていられるのは、人間が過去の記憶の集合体として存在しているから。
It's weird to have him giving this speech, though.
君はどんな過去が良かったの？
私は
Obviously one where you guys were able to grow up together.
私は神名君と同じ地面を踏んでいたかった。同じ時間を過ごしたかった。私は神名君と一緒に大人になった。
Exactly. I'm not a fucking genius and I figured this shit out.
やっと たどり着いた。
ここって。
ここに来れたのは君が望んだからだけじゃない。僕だった存在が望んだからでもあるんだ。
カミナ君も？カミナ君！
そしてあなたがそうだったように。あの時カミナ君もまたあなたに心を奪われていたの。だからカミナ君はあなたであって。
No shit, he's been saying this entire movie how he was in love with you.
私たちにとってはね。
ありがとう。君が来てくれなければ、君が望んでくれなければ、世界は無へと帰していた。
ごめんなさい。いくら私たちでも時間を巻き戻すことはできないの。その代わりあなたたちに思い出をあげる。本当なら過ごせたはずの二人一緒の時間を。
I mean, isn't that basically the same thing? Isn't that what we learned from watching Total Recall all those years ago? Memories of the thing and actually living it are completely interchangeable.
あなたたちはどうするの？あなたたちラーゼフォンなんでしょ？
僕たちはいるべきところに戻るだけだよ。
Showing that she's that much smarter than Ayato, because Ayato had to be told all of this.
幸せにね。
それは僕らが君らに言うべきことだよ。
ありがとう。
Meanwhile, back to this. I think the major thing, though, is that most of the time, we're just reusing animations that we already had before. So in the more complex shots, I don't think they're going to be able to change anything, but other than replace them where they were.
これが私の作ったシステムの輝きだというのか。違う。違いはしませんよ。これが我々の、いや、
Gonna shoot Bahib in the back. There we go.
裏切ったというのか、奏者が。裏切り？何を言ってるんです。彼はムーと人間の血を引く。生きとし生ける私たちすべての子供なんですよ。あの少年の血は青い。私と同じ血なのだ。青い血が何だというんです。
It doesn't matter.
あなたが生み出し、我々が育ててしまったこの状況を救おうとしているのですよ。生きようとする者の責任として。
I'm more concerned by the fact he seems to be shedding feathers like crazy.
我々も責任を取るべきじゃないですか。私は創造主なのだぞ。人が知覚できる神など神ではありません。
Now, all of our me and Lessons conversations about omnipotence over omniscience, and you know all of Sevdaku's comments.
帰りましょう。
帰るってどこへ？
思い人のところに。始まりは終わりの。
I assume you're still going to go to the future where Quan becomes the child of those two. But nothing good happens for you. It's weird, the choice to have him be in love with Quan here instead of the doctor. I mean, his secretary. $60? Are we gonna do with a What Dreams May Come version of ending? Oh yeah, their weird version of row, row, row your boat.
ねえおばあちゃん、結局アリスは本当に現実の世界に戻ったのかな。
どうして？
だって人の世は夢ではないのかって言ってるんでしょ。
そうね。だけどアリスは本当に夢の世界に行ったのかしら。結果的にアリス
Or
は
was
現
she
実の世界に
ultimately
戻
just
っ
a
てきたけ
psychopath?
ど、本当はそれってどうでもいいことなのよ。どっちの世界が現実なのかなんて関係ないわ。だって彼女には記憶が残ってるんだから。鏡の国で経験した素敵な記憶が。
Okay, not what dreams may come situation. This is just the same thing as what happened at the end of the show.
それでいいんじゃない？
Except that
おじいちゃんはそう言ってたわ。
this isn't Quan.
おばあちゃんって本当おじいちゃんのこと好きだったんだね。
どうして？
だっておばあちゃん二言目にはすぐおじいちゃんおじいちゃんって言うんだもん。
あら
So,
でも
like the end of the show, but now Ayato was dead.
本当愛されてたんだね。おじいちゃんもおばあちゃんのことちゃんと愛してくれてた？
大人をからかわないの。愛お話はここまで。話しすぎて喉が渇いちゃったわ。
Where's Megumi though?
じゃあお
Is
茶持っ
Megumi
てく
still
るね。
alive?
麦茶あるから。
走ると危ないわよレイカ。
大丈夫。
Reika. Especially kept the book this whole time. But the book held up all this time too. Oh, I don't know why. I suddenly want to cry. I don't know.
おばあちゃんお待たせ。あれ？おばあちゃん？おばあちゃん？もうまた。
I don't know why that hit me right in the heart for some reason. Like nothing fucking happened. Suddenly all the emotion kicked in. It didn't even make any sense to me. Just saw them together, and it's like I guess the implication of all the years passing and then being dead and coming back together with a loved one that's been gone. It's like all of a sudden it hit me. Oh. I don't know. Here's the thing. Maybe I did see this movie. I don't remember seeing it, but I remember that ending and thinking that was the ending of the show. I don't know, something about that ending. Oh, that's right. Sorry, once again, Fail Fisher in the comments. It's weird for Fail Fisher because he obviously sees his own comments here, but he knows in the YouTube edit that the comments are gone. Reiki here is the granddaughter instead of the name Izuto used while using Haruka's teenage appearance. Yeah. I don't know. The name Reiki was hitting me on a bunch of different levels for other references to other things. I'm saying that I must have seen this at some point because, again, I may have described this during the show reaction, but this is the ending that I was expecting in the show, and then the show ending with them having lived their lives together and having Quan as their kid in the future is, I guess that's still this, right? The idea that they had the kids together, but they're saying that's the granddaughter, so technically that's Quan's daughter, right? Assuming that the show reality and this reality are one and the same. I mean, clearly they're not. They are changing stuff, but I'm following the same rules that I follow when it comes to the continuity drag that's in Gundam, where some people say that Origin is its own thing, and I'm saying that I'm following Origin until it contradicts itself in the future. That if those two have a new future together, where they get married and have Quan, if this granddaughter is present, then that's Quan's daughter. And that is not contested by anything. Considering that in the end of the show, we saw Quan as a baby and those two together. So clearly at some point, Ayato just dies. See, my concern is that the feeling that I got is what happened is that Ayato died at the end, at the fight, and that they gave her a new, memories of them having been together the whole time. And conceivably, that could still happen. Like, the new timeline in my head versus the show's timeline is that, the RahXephon gave her the memories of them having been together the whole time instead of what actually happened. And the fact that she slept with Ayato at some point means that she could still have had Quan, or a child named Quan, or whatever she named her kid, right? She could have been like 1 month pregnant at the end of the show, and then they gave her the memories, and she thinks that she spent all that time, and that Ayato died at some point, and that she goes 8 months down the road, and she gives birth to a kid. Like, she could still do all of that with Ayato not being present. The idea here is that, for me, it's so full of interpretation as to what happens after we go from her thanking the Zephon to the granddaughter scene in the future where she has a granddaughter that looks exactly like she did as a teenager. That weirdness. That's the way that I'm filling that blank spot. They gave her the memories of their life together that they didn't live. Ayato dies. Because, he has to sacrifice himself so time that can move forwards in a harmonious nature that lets everybody else live. And she gives birth to the child from their one encounter together. And that is what gives rise to the rest of the family. I mean, conceivably, it's still only, dead grandpa, Megumi, her child, and then the grandchild here. Because if I was going to do like a family tree to try and figure this all out, there would just be a bunch of question mark branches off of people that must have existed but have not been shown. I at least appreciate that Megumi didn't get like tortured like she did in the show. And I don't mean like physically tortured, just like she didn't keep falling in and out of love with people who then went off or died. 2001 to 2003. Yeah, I don't know. It really hit me there at the end, but didn't hit me on the level of like Gunbuster. It's just all of a sudden seeing him there and then seeing her back to that time, clearly implying that she died. Like, if you ever watched me and Rafferty's reaction to Robot Carnival, I can't remember which one it is in Robot Carnival. It's the best one of the Robot Carnival stories, where he is sitting on the porch as an old man, and he sees the robot that he created as a kid, the one that not as a kid, as a younger man, that he destroyed effectively. And like she beckons to him, and he gets up, walks out of the chair, and then the family member comes back, and he's gone, and like no sign of him at all. That kind of disappeared, presumed dead sort of thing. I think this is the end of her life. She got to live out the life that she would have thought that she might have had with Ayato, but, sort of didn't. And that's why it hit me as so emotionally sad at that just immediate moment. It's like, that's what's happening in my head to explain what I was thinking. Granted, I'm assuming that any number of people could drop by this video and explain what they think is happening here. But I think that's also kind of the weird nature of storytelling that happens between like this and, again, Evangelion. That there's an interpretation level of storytelling, which is different from just telling you what's happening. Closest thing I can think of is to the meaning of the bluebird in the show versus the pointlessness of the bluebird flying over shoulders and whatnot in the movie, because we don't set it up for anything. I still think RahXephon is better than Evangelion. And I think the combination of the show and the movie is what does it. I don't think the show itself is better, and I don't think the movie itself is better, but I think the combo of the two, when you have to think about what the differences mean and what the characters are going through and why different choices are made in the movie that are made in the show, the combination of the two things makes it a better property than Evangelion, in my opinion. I've only seen the show Evangelion and the first movie of Evangelion. I may have seen part of I don't know if it's a reboot or whatever it is, the 3.0 or whatever, 3.1. You cannot advance, I think I saw. But, sorry, my mind just drifted there. That's the problem, is that there's so much more here than I am able to talk about because, well, one, time is an issue. But two, also I'm an idiot, and I'm never going to be able to encompass everything that there is related to RahXephon that occurs to me on the top of my head. Also, again, lean back towards the I'm an idiot aspect of this, in that I will never have everything. But when it comes to, like, interpretation of what's happening, that's really why I'm doing the reaction. Well, I'm doing the reaction because it was requested. But, when it comes to interpretation, that's why I really feel like this is a thing worth watching. Like, I don't know if I would watch other people's reactions to it, but I would certainly read their descriptions of what they think is happening, because I think that is the end game fun of, or the end game mental torture of RahXephon, is figuring out what other people figure must be happening. Of course, though, we're not done with RahXephon. Well, assuming that it keeps getting requested, it hasn't stopped being requested yet. We still have 3 more things down the line. We have the interlude, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. Memories, also, again, not exactly sure what that is. And a third thing that Vale Fisher reminded me of just earlier when we were starting the stream. I can't remember, it's hers and his or something like that, but the name that I came across was thatness and theirness. So we also have that down the line. So once again, we are not done with the RahXephon travel through by any means. Now, I mean, we will be eventually, because there is no future RahXephon stuff, right? Nobody came back to pick up RahXephon like they did with Evangelion. But then again, Evangelion was a moneymaker for years. Whereas RahXephon is a show I've consistently have to tell people, RahXephon, that's that show that's better than Evangelion. So, it's an unfortunate bit, but I would love to see it come back one day. You know, maybe a reinterpretation. I would not change a thing about the art style, though, because this was such an amazing animation for 2001, 2003. Like, it falls down some places, but compared to other shows of the time I was watching it in, my god, chef's kiss. Like, I remember bringing that up to Griffin when we first started, like, episode 1 or 2. The element that this show was so much more, felt like more advanced art-wise than shows of its time. But then again, what the hell do I know? I always come into this saying that I don't know people's names, I don't know any artists, I don't know anything. I just consume. I'm a consumer of the media. That said, though, I really do feel like I'm rambling. Of course, if anyone wants to put anything in the comments of this, I, of course, read all of the comments. I react to most of the comments, in that I will respond to you if there's something respondable. I will give my thoughts back to you. There is essentially no deadline on reacting, or there's no deadline to reacting to anything I say. I constantly check the comment section for any new posts. I check the comment section for other people's responses to other people's responses. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say to one another. So even if you don't see like a thumbs up or a heart from me or something for whatever reason, I'm still reading it. So whenever you want, I don't care. Well, I say I don't care. I was about to say 10 years from now, if you're posting, I'll probably be reading it. But who the hell knows how I'm going to be here 10 years from now? Time is unkind to the human body. Either way, if I'm around and I'm able to be reading it, I will have read it. That was a long ramble just to say comment, I'll read it. Anyway, I think that's it for today's reaction to RahXephon. Once again, I've been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?